very seldom it takes me a while to find a parachute. When I'm having trouble finding a parachute,
That's out of the norm.
there's something else going on, you know.
Yeah.
I want to take it to the area that they yelled at us, but then these other areas, but
That's the one that creeps you out? The area that creeps you?
yeah, that one. That one is
So
the
what,
one.
so what is it? Is it just because of the surroundings, or is it just a feeling?
No, it's a feeling like somebody's there around you. Because, well, it started out when I was hunting with Andrew.
Yeah.
We'd be walking out, and this limb would just come hurling through the air, right? And land by me, and I said, Andrew, knock it off. I ain't doing that. See this rock come in.
So you've actually had rocks thrown at you too?
Rock and limb. In that area.
Wow.
In this area where we're going, I had a guy at work off the field. He jogged in here, right?
Oh.
And I keep telling him about this place at work, you know, that it creeps me out, you know. He goes, oh boy, you're just a scary cat.
Yeah.
No, man. And he was jogging in the back, and I always told him, you better be careful back there. And one ran right across the road in front of him.
No way.
He come to work going, I'll never doubt you again.
So he actually seen something?
Yeah, it ran across the road right in front of him.
Oh. And it's...
You know,
it's-
but I know this way is frequented by people, but I'm not seeing anything else additional for
No, because it
shears
looks
or-
like, it doesn't look like
It looks like there's one thing by itself on that one. It's awfully wide, but
Here's
it's
the
just
next
small.
bird. He stepped off.
It's just small. Went this way.
He stepped off.
Could be. So we're in the back
well.
area.
I've been walking along and catch something out of the corner of my eye, and I go like that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing.
Yeah, and then you find yourself doing the forward and the backward thing, and
Yeah, and I'm like,
you're like, wait a minute. Now there was something black there.
yeah.
Then you just try to dismiss...
And you're like, wait a minute, this is just a mere seconds, and what I thought I saw isn't there, and so your brain takes over, applies logical sense to it, and says, well, it didn't happen.
Yep.
They could move without sound though, because when he crossed that creek, that was thick palmettos we had to go to get to the creek.
Yeah.
Didn't hear nothing.
Well, you'll hear things. You'll hear things running away from you sometimes, and you won't see anything. Structure. Just give
Yeah.
it time. There's another lean going on the bottom.
But that's a corridor.
You see right here?
That's a corridor, yeah.
You see right there where you got one lean going there and one lean going there. You see them starting to form a teepee. And we've always said
They're stripped. The bark is
normally
stripped.
when we come across them, we always seem to find them when they're completed, or we think is completed. You know, it's like, you know, it has to start somewhere. Does one lean begin it? You don't pay attention, but when two come together, it catches your attention. So as you keep going back and forth over time, pay attention to that, see if it starts changing or stuff starts getting added to it.
Back too much, but I can check it. I get up there. You know?
Exactly.
Where's the path? Do you mind if I look real quick?
Take your time.
Did you want to take the camera with you?
And is it just an optical illusion, or is it all one structure? Because it looks like there are two separate lanes. It looks like two separate lanes, so it might not be a structure at all. No, I'm wrong. They are part of the same thing. Check this out. Sometimes you'll come across this also. Piles of broken stuff. See piles of broken stuff?
Yeah, how does that?
It's like piles of it, and it doesn't seem to be a natural explanation to it, other than there's piles.
No, water don't.
And you'll see hearts of palm ripped out of stuff too. And so, if you look at it, Betty, there is two leans on that. There is two leans on it, and
Yeah, but look.
yeah, there's two leans on it.
See how that's busted?
Mm-hmm.
Pulled down?
Yep.
That didn't just
Well,
happen.
that looks like it's going to be,
Yeah, it looks like it's the beginning.
it's the beginning of a structure.
Yep.
And so keep an eye on that one.
There's a strong center.
This is what I'm talking about, Chris.
Right, there's usually a strong center tree. Yeah, you gotta snap right there.
This is what I'm talking about. How does this happen?
Well, when you first look at it, you say, well, it's just wind,
That's what.
right? But when you start measuring things, you start realizing that they start pulling down.
There we go.
That right there is probably
foundation
about
is
8 feet
down.
up, 8.5 feet up.
And the trees are down.
And so that could very well be the makings of something right here.
Yeah.
Right here. And if you look at the lower area, look at the lower area.
The trees are already laying on the ground.
Well, no,
Ready
you see
to
a lot
go.
of these trees. You see a lot of these, there's a lot of trunks on the ground already. You notice that? There's an awful lot of what you would call deadfall in and around this thing. So what I try to do is I try to apply my common sense to it.
This one was pushed over.
That is still in the ground.
But it's pushed over.
I think this is a structure in the making. That's what I think.
Oh, wait till we get to the back.
Yeah, you gotta keep your eyes on that.
Well, I'll check it. Because he runs too fast. So, I told him you better be careful now back.
Do you believe him or do you think he was messing with you?
No, he was, because they mess with me every day.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert, I was out in the swamp. I didn't see your Bigfoot.
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you better be careful. And then when he saw that one, he said, White, I'll never adopt you again. He said, I saw something run across the road, and it was big, and it was hairy, and it was on the move.
Probably got shoved.
Yeah, but I was watching some of that on YouTube, and they're saying the clothes are folded, and the shoes are always off their feet, and always some
Yeah.
weird stuff like
Or
that.
even if you watch the 401 video, I had someone mail me that. I watched it. The dude's skull was found. The dude's skull was found 2 years after his missing. So they found the remains of him. The skull was found on a rock with a thermos.
Weird. Okay, we're gonna head in this way.
You know what it tells me?
Oh, you're kidding, right?
You know what it tells me?
Y'all do
Tells
know
me.
rattlesnakes like that shit out
It
there.
tells me that it's like a trophy. It's like a trophy being laid out.
Yeah.
Ain't you, Fred?
I'm a little leery
You
about
lead the
that.
way.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Beata has a machete if you want one.
I just, look guys,
Yeah, we won't need that. Let's go down here. We can walk the wood line back. That'd be a lot
yeah,
easier
it's a
on
little
us.
safer. We're a long ways out for a snake bite.
We got to get up to this
Lead the
upper
way.
roof.
I'll give you a machete if you need one.
I'm through the boat. I do the rear.
The smile like
Came across any poison ivy out here yet?
no, but we got poison oak. Real bad.
Yeah. Gotta watch that stuff.
The smile is really bad.
Thank you.
I'm out of my comfort zone.
I know, but when we get back here to the woods, it opens up into
It opens up in the, once you go through, he said it opens up.
To the point where Logan told me.
Just think you're adventurous right now.
Last night, Logan said, Mom, you know you've had three ships jump out at you.
That'll be fine. Look,
He said, you going in the swamp?
I think that's why they stay back here. It's stupid.
Give me that machete. That way I can at least free the cut from you guys.
no, don't take the whole, yeah, go ahead, take the whole thing out.
There we go.
No, I wouldn't want the whole thing.
Well, I don't know.
There you
Proper
go.
way of grabbing it. I just don't want nobody to get it.
All right, that way.
And then you need to
Because of
sip
my
the,
ignorance.
sip the,
A lot of times when I have a machete,
my backpack just all of a sudden got so much lighter.
Really, from the machete?
Yeah, the machete's heavy.
Hey, y'all need to stay right behind us.
Well,
So you're on the same track.
They did this. Betty, they did over here. There. There, go here. Go here.
I forget. I got no short legs. I can't move like them. A lot of baby pine trees growing.
Yeah, they've been through here.
Cooler back there.
I'm trying to take you guys an easy way. Let's see if it's a little easier.
The direction is east, so it's opposite the sun on the way out. See that?
Oh, that smells fragrant. What is that?
You smell the smell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it smelled like fragrant.
We came across smells that were very like flowers.
Yeah. Look at this log.
I see it.
Strip.
Totally stripped.
Well, you've got something over there that looks like it made a, because of the weight, it looks like it made an indentation over there in the corner.
Right. Or do you think that's just hogs?
I don't
going-
know.
It's
Wild.
a lot of hog activity, but it's like an excavator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like some sort of heavy equipment.
Here's a track. It's old. I don't know if it's human or not. Somebody's sick.
Look at it.
Okay, well, let me. Which one?
Yeah. Out there. I'll put my foot up to it.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and stay behind me because the spiders are about to go.
Oh, good Lord. Hey.
They're out.
They don't bother you. We find a way through.
That one slapped me in the face.
Green Creek, Lena? I keep thinking I'm going to find a Confederate. You know what you don't hear in here? Ever? Birds.
Yeah.
Never.
But now you hear them.
I've never heard birds in here or birds moving around. The ferns don't get worse. They get deep. I'm gonna go this way. course.
Dang, I'm losing my pants.
You know what you're looking at.
It's probably the dancing all the time.
Sometimes.
Fred,
I'm in here by myself all the time. I mean, when I have to come in here, I've been here like 3 times maybe.
which way? Straight or that way?
Keep kind of wanting to see right. We're kind of coming, see this open field? We're kind of going to go like that.
Be careful of cypress moon.
Yeah, called Pudo.
What are they called?
Pudo.
Oh.
That's the Asian tree. Pudo. No. Not the old
You see the, turn on your thermostat.
I got my thermostat on.
Click mine on. Hopefully I still got some bug juice in that pad. Probably won't burn anything.
Hang on, I'll look. You got a little bit, yeah.
You see the light?
If this thing broke off naturally,
Well, it would be like this. You know, there's where it would break off.
then
It
it
would
would go
probably
right
just fall.
But how does trees in the middle of the swamp just fall over?
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the across the room.
You ever seen an alligator out near the water?
Very soft.
I see a couple in Francis.
Very mucky and mushy and moldy smelling. Musky.
Okay. Be very careful. I will fall flat on your yellow light. Slippery.
See how deep it gets.
Yeah. When we get hurricanes, I guess.
Water's always good.
Okay, there's short people here. All right, so we crossed the river, correct?
Yeah, now we're going, this goes back.
Is that the creek or what you call the river?
That's the river.
Okay.
And it gets bigger as it goes back.
Okay.
And then, so from here on. And then this goes go back to there's no logging trail back there. That's where I've seen tracks.
And you said there's a homestead out here?
Well,
Yeah.
That was in the beginning.
Oh.
A lot of stuff
I
down.
think there's a good food source up there.
A lot of stuff down. Again, those plants that we dealt with before last year. And we have right in front of us. And they haven't even paid attention to it. And there's a little break right here. There. Better follow.
Be careful, there's hidden,
Oh yeah.
hidden leaves that I've been tripping over.
Okay, I'll turn the camera off in order to get over it.
You probably need to film me because I'll probably fall.
I'll straddle it.
Are you
Hang on, you can use my shoulder.
I don't see anything on you.
I'm prepared for anything.
What?
God, but that's something flew on my hand.
Oh,
Maybe a frog?
oh, okay. Thought something pulled on you.
No, something was on my hand. Don't know what it was.
Well, I got your scream.
Something was on my hand. I don't know what it was. It was cold and flying.
Was it a frog? I don't know. I have disinfection in the truck later.
There's a print. It could be a person. And I haven't been back there, not lately.
We're out here because Robert was at the town hall, and I had briefly spoken to him, and he had conversed with me through email that in this particular area that he works in, because he's a I'm just gonna call it like a parachute type recovery.
Parachute recovery person.
Yeah, and so he took us out here because he had all kinds of stories of interesting things going on with him. So let Robert talk to you about it.
And just to say this, when I spoke to him at the town hall, he was definitely a non-believer for a long, long, long time until
Growing up, yeah. I just never seen nothing like that. But well, let me explain what I do.
Yes.
I'm a parachute recovery guy, or search and rescue for Skydive City. And when a jumper, when their parachutes don't work right and they can't land it safely, they have two handles that they pull. One handle releases that parachute, and they pull another handle and it puts a reserve above their head so they can land safely. Well, that parachute that they release drifts away wherever the wind takes it, because we don't have at the moment we don't have trackers. That's in the works though. And there's another piece when they pull the reserve. It's a spring-loaded pilot chute that comes off their back and pulls the reserve off their back, and when it's done doing this job, it falls to earth too. So they send me out to recover both of those pieces, which can be very expensive. And I wind up in places like this. I've come up over the years. See, I've been hunting parachutes for about 40 years. And I've come up with formulas of how they fall. And that's why they send me out. I've been doing this since I was probably 8 or 9 years old.
And you're a parachutist yourself too.
Yeah, and I've got over 3,000 skydives myself. And so that's how I wind up in the swamp all the time. I don't get to do much jumping. I'm out here. So, but I've had weird things happen to me out here. Like I've heard the mumbling, and I've had parachutes that I knew was in one area, and I searched that area. We just searched it out, I mean, completely. Figured that somebody took it, and then we're walking back, and this is over a period of 2 or 3 days. And when we're walking back, the parachute's sitting right by the road all bundled up. We used to think people are finding it and putting it out by the road for us to find, but I don't know. And I've had what we call the free bag, that part that pulls off the reserve. I've been in areas I know they're in, like I got one up front now. We grid searched the whole thing, it's gone. So either somebody took it or something took it, I don't know.
I have a question. So when you search for the parachute and it's not in the area where you think it is, then you're heading back and then all of a sudden this parachute is near the road, balled up in a little ball.
In an area you've
How
already
long-
searched.
How long did it just started recently, or is it something that's been going on and off
that's
over
been-
the years?
That's
or
been going on ever since I've been out here hunting parachutes.
Okay.
Every once in a while that happens.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to disturb you with something, but you know that is often said in humans' search and recovery. They search an area very thoroughly, that they all know they search very thoroughly, and then they come back and actually find the person in an area that was already cleared.
And
So is that
I was-
happening to you a little bit out here, except for the shoots?
Well, like I explained to you earlier, I have been in an area, in a particular part of the woods, I know the parachute landed because all my calculations put the parachute there. I searched the area,
Nothing.
nothing.
And it's brightly colored, right? I mean,
Right.
it's brightly colored.
You can't miss
You
it.
can't miss it.
And then one day I'm searching, I come back through the same area that I've been searching, and it's hanging right there in a tree. And I keep thinking, well, maybe I just, I've been doing this a long time, and I could pick them out, because I don't
What
know.
is the color of them? The majority, what's the color normally?
Oh, they come in all.
So, okay,
But
Probably all the
orange,
pretty-
blue, red,
We
whatever.
use a lot of
Neon.
neon stuff.
Yeah, neon, so it can be
Neon
spotted.
green,
Yeah,
Yellow.
the whites, the blues.
yeah, you'd see that.
And, well, I don't know if y'all are familiar with splatter vision, okay? The Indians use it. And what it is you kind of program your brain, like if I'm looking for a red parachute, and I tell myself red, right? And instead of looking in just one little spot in the woods, you kind of take in all of it. And you'll be amazed how your mind can just go, there's red.
Yeah.
And I was taught that, and I used that. And very seldom it takes me a while to find a parachute. When I'm having trouble finding a parachute,
That's out of the norm.
there's something else going on,
Yeah.
And you have come across tracks. You said you
Yeah.
a footprint.
Well, I can tell you that story. We had recovered a parachute, me and a partner of mine. We were coming out, and we come up to the river. This is before I even believed in Bigfoot.
Yeah, because you were a non-believer for a long time.
And me and Andrew, we were arguing back and forth, And we come up on a track on the edge of the river, and it was perfect. It was perfect. And then I look down in the water. There's another track down in the water, and then another track just the edge of the creek. And the water was still pulling the mud down the river. So I told Andrew, I don't know what this thing is, but it's going that way, and we're going this way. So we kind of skirted it, and when we come out on the logging road, we were standing there, we took a break, we set the parachute down, we're just hot, and we're standing there, and all of a sudden, back in the woods, you couldn't see them, but something started just like a gorilla on steroids. And it was loud. You almost had to cover your ears. And Andrew was frozen, and I'm like, Andrew, he's just frozen. Finally, I grabbed him and I shook him. I said, we got to go. And these things were still yelling. And we ran up the road, we grabbed the parachute and ran up the road, and they finally stopped. But I kept watching my six. I didn't know what was coming out that swamp, And for the longest time, I just didn't want to go back in that area, But that's pretty much the day I have figured out there's something else out
There's
here
something
besides
else out
me.
here besides you, yeah.
Yeah.
But I hunt by myself. Andrew moved to California, and I had another guy that hunted with me, Michael. He got COPD real bad, and he can't hunt anymore. So that leaves me. So I'm out here by myself all the time, so this is my home away from home. But I know these swamps like the back of my hand. I grew up in here, so. But I've had weird stuff happen like that.
Yeah, this is like a fern swamp right now.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful in these areas because there can be a gator and waiting out here for you.
Yeah, this
Snake.
is.
You gotta watch this stuff right here. You can get hurt in this stuff.
In the winter months, does it die down a little bit? Okay. So
A
it
lot.
kind of does like what our area
Yeah,
does.
a whole lot actually.
Lot
But
of
it
rain.
stays dark like this for, I guess, all these leaves and stuff. But this is the area that I've had stuff thrown at me. We've been up. We had a parachute up here on the hill, and we recovered it. We were coming back out, and we had limbs like, bam.
Well, okay. Well, let me just make an observation. It's not going to be easy for anything to fly through the air in here. I mean, it's going to hit something and fall down. How close do you think it? You know, the trajectory. Where do you think it came from?
I don't know.
Within how
it was
close?
coming low. It was like this. Oh, bam. I thought it was Andrew throwing limbs at me. I turned around and yelled at him. I said, "Hey, stop it now.
Yeah.
We need to get back, you know." He goes, "Robert, I ain't doing that."
I'll be honest with you. I don't think you're going to throw something in here more than 25 yards.
It's not going to go very far.
I just don't think it's going to hit and it's going to fall.
Well, up on the hill, that's where we saw the little trucks. They were little small trucks like that. And there was a bunch of them up on the hill. We couldn't figure out what they were, but they were barefoot. Looked like a kid's truck up there on the hill, on the fire trail.
Oh, I was going to say, you shouldn't be barefoot in this place. You must be wanting a death wish.
I don't think it was a human kid.
Probably long and skinny like that.
If you, after looking at it,
with
do you?
toes.
So you would.
Hold on, film him saying that again.
I did.
Yeah,
Long and skinny with toes.
Long and skinny.
These are long and skinny with.
I've
with
seen
toes.
those before.
Yeah, real narrow.
Narrow, real narrow.
Mm-hmm.
Long and narrow with like toes on
Yeah,
it.
with toes on.
I've seen that before in the other part of the swamp. Not often, but I have.
I think what they're doing from the Green Swamp, they're coming down through here because all this is connected all the way out to 301. So they can follow this whole river. If I took you down where they yelled at us, the palmettos are probably 2 times taller than me. And I mean, they're just thick as they can be.
Well, maybe we can hit it on the way out.
If you want to take a look at that, I can take you down there.
This
If
gives
you
you
see-
sores.
What I do is I'll take my feet and just knock it down. Sometimes I can't. I can't avoid it, but
Well, it's right here too.
yeah, you got to be careful. Don't get it on your skin because it'll make all these little sores. Like I got one.
I think I've touched
I
it.
had some,
Yeah.
so I guess they're gone now.
I got some stuff in Peru that I'm still scarred for. Right here.
There's too much debris in here. It's like wood.
But when we get up here, I'm going to show you that. All right?
Yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot of.
debris.
Are we ready?
Oh my God.
Watch your step. A trip. Very easily.
Looks like coyotes.
Yeah.
See the coyote trap?
Is it a den?
I see hog. Could be deer also in there.
Do deer go into dens like that?
I think they'll bundle up for bad weather and stuff, yeah. You can see there looks like deer tracks over there, and there's some hog. But it doesn't stink. It doesn't stink or it doesn't reek or anything.
A person could lay underneath here too.
Oh,
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
other
You could hurdle 4 people in there. Huh.
It could be down here now.
It could be down in the ground. You can't see it very well.
So if you move to the side.
Yeah, this is saw palmetto.
Another one.
The little one.
Yeah. Well, it's over yonder.
Yeah, a lot of times when you come into the bows and dens, you'll see them all in one area.
No, I'm talking about a burrow or a den.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh, way back there. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that also. And is this part of the tree?
It's a branch, yeah.
Yeah, it's a branch stand over
There's
there.
another
You
nest.
think this grew like this?
I think it could likely be under, got pressure somehow. And it just stayed down and grew like that.
And it looks like toes.
It does.
See?
Yeah. Cool. It does.
But I don't see where another stride would